All right, next up, we've got a question from Loophole McGee. This is an interesting one.
Did you say Loophole McGee?
Loophole McGee.
What a great name.
Man, the IRS loves that guy.
Well, here's his question. He says, I'm 28 and my wife is 25 and we earn $490K a year.
Wow.
Wow, that's because he's got all them tax loopholes working.
I mean, no comment. He says they're worth $1.3 million and they're saving 52% of their gross income. His question is, we take the free food my job offers home to save money and time. Should we stop? Now, I saw Loophole giving a little more context in the chat. This is the question.
Step
he
one,
did
Loophole. Okay, go ahead.
He did say they still go out on the weekends and eat at a nice restaurant. And they do like the credit card travel point thing to do trips for cheap. Mm-hmm. And they want to do FIRE, though. So he is trying to do financial independence, retire early. So there you go.
Yep.
What do you think? Is this too cheap? When do they stop doing this?
Here's my first thought, Loophole. Go to aboundwealth.com and click on work with us, because 28 and 25 making $500,000 a year with a net worth of 1.3 is insane. Like, you are crushing it. That is awesome. So kind of just rest in that for a moment. Now, if your question is, hey, I love being wealthy and I love saving money, I love having a 52% savings rate, is it okay that I'm robbing from my company to subsidize my grocery budget? You know, maybe that's a little aggressive. Maybe that is a little aggressive. So rather than answering like, should I steal food from work? Because my answer is going to be no to that one. Can people save too much? Can they take it too seriously? Can they lose sight of maybe the things that really matter and be blinded by this desire to be a saver, assuming they're not breaking laws or committing theft to do so?
Well, first, let's give old Loophole McGee a little break here. And the fact that just like we offer lots of apples, oranges, protein bars, snacks. We even have meat sticks. I rolled open the drawer the other day and I was like, what? Holy cow, we're beyond Slim Jims. We offer full-on meat sticks to the staff here.
To be consumed where?
No. See, this is where you and I are probably different. I'm not troubled one bit if like everybody, because I do this my own, I'd be a hypocrite, is that when I'm walking out sometimes to go to the gym or even drive home, I will grab a cheese stick and an apple, and I'll sit there and munch in the car on my apple and my cheese stick. So if that's good enough for me,
it's the Abound special.
It's good enough for my folks.
We're not talking about walking out with a cheese. He has a grocery bag under his arm.
It's not stealing. So it's all about the culture of your office. What
if it's just like leftovers? Like they cater and then there's leftovers. If you see your boss going in there and he's like taking out whatever TV dinners or whatever you offer at your place, because we offer like macaroni and cheese. Now look, if I had somebody who came into the office and they saw where we stored all the macaroni and cheese for everybody out of the freezer, because I think it's like Trader Joe's or some other fancy macaroni. I don't know how that got advocated and put in our system. But if somebody was coming in and taking whole packages of it because they were feeding their family, that would bother me.
It sounds
that would bother me.
I will say I took this question as that it was okay that he was taking these leftovers home.
There's nothing wrong, because I know when when my grandmother was sick, and they had an outside person coming in, was helping my granddad with my grandma. We found out after she passed away that the caretaker was taking quite a few liberties. She was making full trays of food. She was making food for my grandma, but then she was making full trays of like casseroles and taking it home
for her family.
It felt it's fine if there's an agreement about that, but when there's like one for you and 15 for my family, it's probably that the needle does go towards stealing versus just taking some liberties with the stuff. But I think you do get to a point. This is where you were trying to get me to go with Loophole McGee. We had in our content meeting, I was talking about how I'm trying to figure out how I can cut my cable provider. Or my streaming provider, I should say, because I have Hulu, but I've had YouTube TV, and all these yahoos keep raising prices to the point that I'm paying more now for streaming than I did for cable, and I'm just ticked that I fell into this trap. And then Daniel, sweet Daniel, he's like, I'll share my user ID and password if you want to watch college football and that, because I was trying to figure out how do I solve the dilemma of watching my college football, my SEC football, my Georgia Bulldogs without having one of these providers. And I just don't have it completely figured. And when Dang offered, I was like, "Dang, you're so sweet, thank you." But no, I'm not.
I can't do it.
That goes
right.
against me. And I think that's the point. I have people. I don't know if it's called a tweet anymore. Back to that.
Somebody
I got an X from a formerly Twitter tweet where somebody said, "Hey, I have relatives who are just ticked off that we do vacations so cheap. Like, scared. I have to wear flip flops on the carpet because we're staying in such just flea-ridden hotels, and I'm worth $1 gazillion." I'm like, "Yeah, you're probably a miser." Versus a financial mutant. And there is a balance between being good with money to maximizing with your incremental decision making versus being a true-on miser to where you're miserable to be around. And that's what I will tell you, Loophole McGee, is that I was struggling with as we're going through. I was like, I don't know if I'd want to hang out with Loophole because I bet when we go out to eat, he would be he'd be trying to figure out.
He's going to prorate the appetizer.
He's going to figure out how we're going to have some issues. I mean, it's just going to be complicated.
That's the crux of the question, though. So is this making you more miserly? Is this lessening your life experience? Yeah.
Don't be the miser because nobody wants to be hanging out with misers who are just not fun to be around. You come off, you turn into Ebenezer Scrooge, and you don't want the Christmas Carol story written about you where everybody's like, look at that rich son of a gun who's got all that money, but they're just miserable people to be around. If you're finding, Loophole McGee, that this thing is hurting your happiness, your purpose, and it's actually causing you strife within your relationships and other things, you might be letting it get ahead of itself. So that's why I always love, there's two things. And look, I have not pushed one course on this entire show today because I want to make sure we're really leaning on to abundance for all. So you guys take our free resources and load up, learn, apply, grow, become the best version of yourself. But Loophole needs one of our paid things, and that's why we created this, the Know Your Number course. You need to look at your savings rate, your income, your goals for the future, and then figure out, are you ahead of the curve, behind the curve? I'm going to tell you, you're ahead of the curve, but you need to use the Know Your Number course and the tool that comes with that so you can figure out, when do you actually get to live in abundance? When do you get to step 8 of the financial order of operations to do the abundance goals, to actually let loose, and still you can go take an apple or whatever you want from your employer, but it's not going to be that you're over there,
pushing the grocery cart.
No, because he's one step from taking toilet paper home, from the office, so he can save money.
Right
don't be that person.
Like, has an opinion.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. Did I go too far?
No, I think it's great.
It's just funny.
I think it's great.